right, guys, welcome back after our short break. Let us quickly continue, and this time around, we'll be looking at our parking tariffs. Let's quickly get some background. Oh no, we're going to jump straight into it. So I'm saying here the first example. Below is the parking tariffs of City Centre Mall. Study this parking tariff carefully and answer the questions that follow. Now, please familiarize yourselves first of all before you just jump into the question. So here's the City Centre Mall tariff structure. Monday to Friday, casual parking tariffs is given to us. Then also, Saturday, Sunday, and public holidays, there's a further breakdown as well. Okay, so let's look at the first question. It says, what do you think is meant by flat rate the whole day, 8 Rand, all right? So what is meant by that? Flat rate, that is what we see here, okay? So that basically means that for the whole day, irrespective of how long you're going to be parking, right, you will pay only 8 Rand. So basically, you'll have to pay 8 Rand for the entire day. Doesn't matter the time that you're going to be parking there. All right, that is what is meant by a flat rate. Okay, now I'll be looking at question number 2. How much can you expect to pay if you have parked for 6.75 hours? Right, so if I go here, I look at 6.75 hours. That is definitely between 5 and 7 hours, as we can see here. All right, so in this case, I'll have to pay 25 Rand. Okay, but keep in mind, if it was over the weekend, remember that flat rate would have applied, and then you would have paid only that 8 Rand. I hope that makes sense and that's clear. Let's look at question number 3. It says, last Wednesday you arrived at the City Centre Mall at 17:45, 5:45, right, and left again at 10 minutes past 8 in the evening. How much did you pay for the parking? Okay, so if I look from 17:45 to 10 past 8, that's between 2 and 3 hours, we agree, because from 5:45, 7:45 it's your first hour, 7:45 is your second hour, and then there's a 25 additional minutes as well. So therefore, that will be between 1 and 5 hours, as we can see here. All right, so in this case, you would have paid an amount of 15 Rand. Guys, this is a very important life skill. One of these days, you'll be driving yourselves. Please make sure you understand how to use these tariff structures. Okay, we'll now be moving on to transport tariffs. Okay, so let's see what is important when we're looking at transport tariffs. Firstly, I'm saying here, the most common means of public transport in our country, South Africa, is your minibus taxis, bus, as well as your train. Okay, then also, fares are based on the distance that you travel, the cost of the petrol, and the general wear and tear of the vehicle, right? Then what else is important here? We can distinguish between single fares, that is one way only. We also have what we call a return trip, all right? That's going to a certain place and coming back. And then we also have our weekly and or monthly ticket fares that can be purchased, right? So moving on now, I said here, people who use their private vehicles for transport often have to pay for parking, as we've seen now in the previous section of our lesson. These fees are usually based on the duration of the parking. Okay, now let's look at an example here. I said to travel to work, Kevin has 2 options. Now option 1 is saying, Kevin can take the bus to the train station and then take a train to his workplace. Further down it says the bus fare is 11.50 Rand and the train ticket costs 16 Rand. So we have 11.50 Rand. And thereafter we also say that is for your bus, and then the train ticket cost him 16 Rand. Right, that's our option 1. Now let's look at option 2. Here we are saying Kevin can drive directly from his home to his work. Okay, then he lives 30 kilometers from work. Should he be using his car? And then what else? He has calculated that the cost per kilometer, including fuel and wear and tear on his car, equates to, or would be equals to, 2 Rand and 25 cents per kilometer. Let's see what is expected of us. There we have, again, the 2 options as indicated just now. Remember, let me just highlight again the important parts for you. The bus fare is 11.50. The train ticket cost him 16 rand. That is your option 1. Then option 2, he can drive directly using his own car from his home to his work. He lives 30 kilometers from his work if he should use his car. And then what else is important? He calculated the cost would be around about 2.25 rand per kilometer. Question number 1. Is it cheaper for Kevin to use the bus and train to get to work or to go by using his own car? So basically, we have to look at which one, option 1 or option 2, will be best for Kevin to use. Very important instruction here. Show all your calculations. Now let's look at option number 1. Remember in option 1, Kevin can take the bus. That will cost him 11.50 rand. The bus will take him to the train station, right? Once he's on the train or before he gets onto the train, he must buy a ticket that will cost him 16 rand. So if you should go for option 1, I'll take 11.50 plus 16. That is now for the train. So in this case, option 1 will cost Kevin to get from home to his work 27.50 rand. Guys, I hope that is clear. Let's quickly just draw a line here. Now I'll be looking at option 2. What is important here? Option 2. Now he'll be using his own car. He will travel 30 kilometers, and then also it will be 2.25 rand per kilometer. Right, it says to get to work, right? So it's only a one way. So now I'll look, it's 30 kilometers, multiply by 2.25 rand per every kilometer. Per means 1, so it's a unit. So 30 multiplied by 2.25 rand. So that gives us a total of 67 rand and 50 cents. So that is after I took 30 and I multiplied by the 225. So again, we showed all our calculation. Now, which one is cheaper for Kevin? So definitely, Kevin should go for option number 1. If you look, it's quite a difference between the two amounts, 27.50 rand versus 67.50 rand. I guess that is clear, option 1. Now let's move on. There's another question for us. If the train travels a distance of 25 kilometers along the railway lines, how much does it cost to travel by train per kilometer? Give your answer correct to the nearest rand per kilometer. All right, so we are saying here, if it travels 25 kilometers, so therefore, okay, let's quickly go through this one. Let me just read again. If the train travels a distance of 25 kilometers along the railway lines, how much does it cost to travel by train, right, per kilometer? Give your answer correct to the nearest rand per kilometer. So in this case, I'll take my 30 and I divide that by 25 per kilometer. Now, okay, sorry, that should be 25 divided by the 30, other way around. So I'm going to say 25 divided by my 30, so that gives me 0.83 cents. I'm going to round it off, and it says to the nearest rand per kilometer. So if I look at this, it will cost him, rounded off, to 1 rand per kilometer. I hope that's clear. All right, so 25 kilometers, he travels a distance of 30 kilometers. So how much per kilometer? Took the 25, I divided by 30, gave me 83 cents. But since my answer asked of me to calculate or to round off to the correct nearest rand, I rounded off to 1 rand. Guys, I want to say thank you for joining me today. I hope you've learned a lot. Best of luck for the week ahead. I'll see you next time.